The character of Dr. Pulaski from Star Trek The Next Generation was quite interesting. Some liked her, while others did not. But what actually happened to the character once she left the Enterprise?
Why do I get the feeling that this was not the time to join this ship?
Hey everyone, my name is Captain Jack and welcome to Trek Central. On today's installment of Star Trek Explained, we're going to be talking about the character of Dr. Katherine Pulaski, played by Diana Muldaur. Although the character only appeared in one season of Star Trek The Next Generation, she left a profound impact on the series. Following her departure at the end of Season 2 and the return of Dr. Beverly Crusher, we never heard from Pulaski again, apart from slight references here and there. Today we're warping into Star Trek lore to find out what exactly happened and where she might be. Let's take a step back to the start and look at Dr. Pulaski's early Starfleet career. For this part of the video, we'll be focusing on Star Trek canon, but we'll be looking at extended canon later on. In 2353, Pulaski was part of a medical rescue team who responded to a Folian attack on a Federation starbase. Much of the outpost was decimated, leading to there being only one survivor, Kyle Riker, father of future Enterprise D First Officer, Commander William T. Riker. Prior to Pulaski's posting to the Enterprise, she served as Chief Medical Officer aboard the USS Repulse, under the command of Captain Taggart. It appears Taggart was very fond of Pulaski, going as far to mention that if she'd stayed on board, he would have given her own personal shuttlecraft, alluding to the fact that the Doctor had a phobia of Starfleet transporter systems, very similar to another Doctor we know of. In 2365, she had obtained the rank of Commander and was posted to the USS Enterprise D, under the command of then Captain Jean-Luc Picard. While aboard the Enterprise, she was involved in a number of missions with the crew, including when she was abducted by a hologram of Professor James Moriarty while enjoying a Sherlock Holmes holodeck experience with Lieutenant Commander Data and Lieutenant LaForge. Eventually, Captain Picard convinced the hologram of Moriarty to release controls and Pulaski was rescued. Another interesting mission for the Doctor aboard the Enterprise was during the investigation into the disappearance of the USS Lantry. The crew of the Lantry had died as a result of premature aging, the result of scientists at the Darwin Genetic Research Station on Gagarin 4 attempting to genetically engineer children. Pulaski ended up infected with the aging disease after a child was found to be carrying it. Luckily for her, a cure was devised by Captain Picard and Data, through the use of the transporter. Commander Riker, LaForge and Chief O'Brien used her DNA before she was infected, as well as a strand of her hair, to instruct the biofilter on what elements were a part of her normal genetic structure. This procedure was at a great risk, as if it did not work, the Doctor would have beamed into space to prevent contamination of the Enterprise's crew. The procedure was successful and allowed Pulaski and the Enterprise crew to treat the staff of the research station. One of the final missions aboard the Enterprise was during a visit to the Maposian colony. Dr. Pulaski, along with Commander Riker, were briefly abducted by the Mariposians, who took epithelial cells from both. The goal was to use them to preserve their colony, which was being drastically affected by a replicative fading virus. Dr. Pulaski and Commander Riker learned of what had happened and returned to the colony and destroyed the clones of them. Ultimately, their decision to destroy the clones was not in vain, as the Mariposians eventually found salvation through merging with a new colony. By the year of 2366, Dr. Katherine Pulaski had transferred off of the Enterprise D, with the previous Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Beverly Crusher, returning to the ship. But what happens to Pulaski from here? She's never seen nor heard from again. To explore more of her story, we're going to need to step into extended Star Trek canon. So let's take a look. With Dr. Beverly Crusher returning to the USS Enterprise D in 2366, Pulaski was expecting to go to Starbase Deep Space 5 to await a new assignment from Starfleet Command. These plans were changed by the return of Dr. Crusher, who gave Pulaski a new assignment from Starfleet Medical. An assignment that was intriguing to Pulaski as it was slightly personal. She was instructed to contact one of her former husbands, Kellic Tron, as Starfleet Medical needed urgent information about a medical crisis in the Cardassian-occupied Bajoran sector. Following communications with Tron, Starfleet Medical had received permission from a Cardassian prefect of the Bajoran sector, known as Gul Dukat, to lead a mission to the Terok Nor space station. Pulaski was chosen to lead this mission. The goal was to research the unknown disease on the station and find a cure. During an investigation on Terok Nor, Pulaski and her team of researchers found and eventually identified a strain of malady as a variation of a double helix virus. A virus that was designed to jump between various species inhabiting the space station. Luckily for the station and its personnel, Dr. Pulaski was able to find a cure and prevent any further outbreak, resulting in the station not being destroyed. In 2367, Dr. Pulaski was ordered to return to the USS Repulse, a ship she had previously served on before joining the Enterprise. This time she'd be serving under a previous captain's daughter, Captain Riel Taggart. Over the next 9 years, Dr. Pulaski served on a variety of Starfleet ships as the Chief Medical Officer, including the USS Progress, the USS Debreaky, and even the USS Repulse for the third time. She loves that ship for some reason. By 2379, the Doctor was working at a Starfleet research facility called the Phlox Institute, named after a medical officer of the NX-01 Enterprise, Dr. Phlox. She attended the wedding of former Enterprise shipmates William T. Riker and Deanna Troi in 2379. Fast forward to the year of 2385, and Dr. Pulaski had met another well-known Starfleet doctor, Julian Bashir of Deep Space Nine. This would be the first time the two had met, as she was attending a medical conference on Bajor. At the time of this conference, Pulaski was still working at the Phlox Institute and garnered a reputation as an expert in genomic therapy. Together with Dr. Bashir, Pulaski, Dr. Elizabeth Lenz, and several other medical specialists all collaborated to resolve the Andorian reproductive crisis. This was solved using the Shaddai metagenome data that Dr. Bashir had secured from a shady organization known as Section 31. Although the Andorian crisis was over, the use of classified data results in Dr. Pulaski being taken into custody and held under house arrest for the foreseeable future. Eventually it came to light that a Bajoran known as Bara Radoil, who was an imposter and a war criminal, the president pro tempore of the United Federation of Planets, SIPAC, authorized Starfleet to drop all charges against Dr. Katherine Pulaski, as well as all the others who had assisted in the Andorian crisis, apart from Dr. Julian Bashir. We'll be covering the events of the Andorian reproductive crisis in another video, as it's pretty centered on Dr. Julian Bashir, so take a look out for that one. Following the resolution of that crisis, Dr. Pulaski convinced the Rosalind Franklin Institute of Biomedical Research for a starship to undertake a brand new, multicultural mission of peaceful science and exploration. She was assigned to the Athena Donald as the chief medical officer, and handpicked some of the vessel's crew. Due to it being a multicultural mission, she selected representatives from the Klingon Empire, the Cardassian Union, the Romulan Star Empire, the Ferengi Alliance, and the Zenkethi Coalition. Pulaski went with the belief that science will do what diplomacy can't, along with the aim to bring peace between the powers of the Khitomer Accords and the Typhon Pact. The last we know about Dr. Katherine Pulaski's history is her assignment to the Athena Donald. After that, there is nothing else. So that is the future of Dr. Katherine Pulaski. Take note, most of this comes from extended Star Trek lore, and with a new show like Star Trek Picard taking place in the year of 2399, it's most likely going to override this written material. Who knows, maybe this new show could provide a background for what happened to Dr. Pulaski. I highly doubt we'll see Diana Muldaur return to Star Trek anytime soon, but it would be great to see Pulaski again. Either way, we'll have to wait and see if she's ever mentioned in the new Star Trek lore again. So that's a wrap on our Star Trek Explained episode for Dr. Katherine Pulaski. Hopefully you've learned more about the character and her possible future. Here's a question to yourselves. Did you like the character of Dr. Katherine Pulaski or not? Many Trekkies seem to not like her, while others strongly do. Let us know and why in the comment sections below. If you want to keep up to date with the latest Star Trek news, lore and more, then make sure to subscribe to Trek Central here on YouTube. For now, I've been Captain Jack, thank you for watching and we'll catch you next time.